My definition of love addiction might be different than your definition. It is actually what's unique about this is that it's unique to everyone. For me, love addiction shows up as a compulsive need to want to do things that I think are going to make me feel good, but they actually make me feel bad. And on top of that, they actually make other people feel bad. So with love addiction, it shows up as wanting to be with someone because they think that they're going to fix us. This compulsive need to want to be loved by someone else. And we think it's going to make us feel better about ourselves. And it does for just a quick minute, and then it makes us feel bad.
Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. And we're live. Woo whoop. I've got such a special guest on today that I'm so excited for you all to meet and hear her story and her amazing wisdom that she's going to share with us today. So we're live in the Badass Manifestor Facebook group. We're live on the podcast. Well, not technically live, but you guys know what I mean. And really excited for today because I have Katie Grimes here, who is a love addiction coach, and she's helping women who wonder if love should really be this hard, develop a new relationship with themselves, with their experience of love, with their experience of like so many amazing things that she's going to tell you all about today. But before she comes on, I just want to say that, Katie has an incredible story, and I wanted to introduce you to her because, we've been meaning to do this for a while, but also because, it takes a lot of bravery to share your story, and it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there and do it in a way that is empowering to help other people. And I really feel like that's what you do. So I'm so grateful that that's what you do in the world. So welcome.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you. That was such a sweet intro. It warmed my heart.
Me too. It feels, it's true. So it's really, really cool. So why don't you do your spiel, tell people who you are and what it is that you do and how you work with women.
Yeah. So I think you gave a great explanation of who I work with, right? It's really to help women to create a different relationship with other people. And we all know that relationship starts within ourselves, but I think so often we've been programmed to give, and really be obsessed with being in love. And I know that was my story, and I suffered for so many years trying to, whether it didn't matter if I was single, whether I was, in a relationship or somewhere in between, I always felt like I was just constantly trying to seek this sort of love and this validation from other people. And it showed up at work. It showed up in my relationships with my family members. And I was the kind of person who was just constantly over analyzing text messages when they'd come through, or what I said or what I did. And that all led to this obsession, right? And I think it was about 4 years ago that I realized that I really suffered from love addiction, this deep need to wanting to be in love. And I, at the time, didn't understand my purpose or understand what life would be like today. If you bet with me that I would be a love addiction coach, I would have not taken that bet. But what I found was that through my struggles and through my own story, I now am able to work with these other high achieving women who are overachievers and really determine what are the areas in their life that they want to see the most results in, so that they can really live a life that they love And let's face it, Ash, like we were put on this earth to love and to be loved. And so that means that creating a new relationship with other people just means that we have to look at our part in it. So I coach women privately, one-on-one, and then I also have a group program that I'm launching called Trust Your Intuition. And then I also have my podcast, Anything for Love. So I really use those platforms as well as my own Facebook group, the Heart Followers, to really just share that message consistently with women.
Oh my God. So good. So good. So awesome. And so when we talk about like receiving more, I know there's a lot, going on at this time and how to step more into faith. What has your journey been like in everything you share and talk about? Because I feel like the topic for today is so appropriate for the time right now, but it's also so appropriate for like that woman that is feeling, that she would do anything for love. You know what I mean? It's like, it could be like that dark place. And how did you navigate that?
Well, I think it's you use the appropriate word of journey,
Yeah.
right? Is that it definitely has evolved. And I think I started doing some of the things, some of the practices that I'm going to share with you guys well before the coronavirus hit, because I realized that a common denominator amongst not only myself, but also my clients that I was working with and the messages that I was hearing from people was that they feel like they're like, or let me speak for myself, that I felt like I wasn't receiving enough love. So I was constantly in, and I hate to use this word, but it was kind of victim mode. It was like, so and so didn't call me back, or I didn't get that promotion, or oh my God, I got to fight to get that bonus. Like it was constantly a fight, a struggle. It was constantly blaming other people. Like, so when I was trying to get into relationships with people or trying to find the one, that I've constantly felt like I was just always being the aggressor, the pursuer, the one who is constantly just in action. And it didn't allow for me to receive the kind of love that I had really been fantasizing over. And let's face it, like, there's a big difference between fantasy and manifestation, and I'm happy to go into that. But like, when we fantasize about the kind of love that we're looking for, it can be an obsession. It can be this compulsive pattern where we keep thinking again and again and again. Maybe we are over like replaying sex scenes. Maybe we are thinking about that text message and overlooking what he last said to us. And instead, I was like, you know what? I want to be more in this receiving mode. And so, funny enough, actually, one of the women in, she's a universal witch. So, our friend Elizabeth, she
Yeah.
told me, I had called her and I said, I'm just feeling like I need to be more in my feminine energy. It's feedback I've gotten for years. And now that I'm in this beautiful relationship and I have really healthy relationships, not only with myself, but other people, there feels like this component still of wanting to do, go, be. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, and I'm tired. And Ash, I make the biggest changes in my life when I'm tired. Like
Yes.
I'm tired of my bullshit. I'm tired of my excuses. I'm tired of just being tired. And so she gave me, Universal Witch gave me this idea of one, wearing pink, and two, also stepping into this idea of receiving. So really calling in the ways in which I am receiving more every day. And so for me, every day is different, Ash. Like some days I'm like, I want to receive more love, or I want to receive more money. So depending on like what I feel like I need to receive more of that day, I really try to look at the ways in which one, I can give it to myself already. And then two, what are the ways I've actually already received it and I don't even realize? So like maybe that's a consult came in, or maybe that was a coaching client reached out and said, thank you for sharing that. Or maybe it's somebody held the door open for me, like little
Love
things
that.
like that.
There's so much to unpack there. It's like being aware of what it is that you need and realizing that you might already have it, but you're not tapped into it. You're like locked out of it because you're not in the right energy for it. So it could already be there. But just going back to of like, stepping into your feminine energy and doing what it takes to embody that energy. So cool. Love that. Love that so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you said something else before and it just slipped my mind, but it was really, really powerful about just it'll come back to me, but like, wow, everything you just said, I love, absolutely love. So for you, when you wake up, do you say to yourself, like, what do I need today? Is that how you trigger that within yourself?
Yeah. So I do that. And then I also ask myself
Okay.
periodically throughout the day. And I ask myself this question. So I
Wait,
learned it in
before you
12.
get into that, before you, I
Yeah.
remember
Here,
what I
I'll write
was
it down so I don't forget. Yeah.
saying. Okay, right, write it down. I was gonna say how spot on your examples were for like what women might be feeling in that state of like maybe you're replaying sex scenes, or maybe you're replaying the text messages over and over and over again, or maybe you're replaying the way that you were like embodying yourself I mean, that's so relatable.
Super relatable. And I think too that
And
women can
nobody
see,
talks about it.
nobody talks about it, Ashley. Nobody talks about it unless you are like going into recovery for it. Nobody talks about it openly. And I think it's been one of those things that I shared with you at the very beginning of my journey was like, when I wanted to step into being a love addiction coach, I was like, oh, I like deal with all of this stuff. And I still do, even though I've been recovered for 4 years. So like, okay, I need to be able to share those relatable experiences, but first I got to get good with who I am and why I've done those things. And so I think that a lot of people, even when you're in relationships, still do that. And the reason I know that is because I was talking to someone who said to me that even though she had been married for a while, she remembers getting engaged, and the first thing she thought was, "Oh shit, is the grass gonna be greener on the other side?" And I said to her, "Oh my God, I still think that. Like, thank you for saying that." Like, it's when we can speak our truths. I mean, you said this at the beginning, when we can share our stories, man, oh man, it like makes us feel less alone, and it makes us
Uh,
feel like we're not crazy.
It's so true. And just, you said like when I figured out that I'm supposed to be a love addiction coach, it was like a, oh fuck feeling, like that oh fuck feeling. And I just want a presence to all of you who are on the fence of being a coach, because I know a lot of you might be. It is gonna feel like that. It should feel like, oh shit, like this is what I'm supposed to do. And it's really, really powerful. We have a question from Marisol. Hi, Marisol. She said, "What's your definition of love addiction?"
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah. So, my definition of love addiction might be different than your definition. It is actually, what's unique about this is that it's unique to everyone. And so I know that's really confusing, but I'm going to explain it. So for me, love addiction shows up as a compulsive need to want to do things that I think are going to make me feel good, but they actually make me feel bad. And on top of that, they actually make other people feel bad. So when you think about the word addiction, where it's most commonly referred to addiction as drug and alcohol use, right? So in that example, people who are alcoholics or drug addicts are picking up a drug because they think it's going to make them feel good, but in actuality, it makes them feel bad. The same can be said for love. So with love addiction, it shows up as wanting to be with someone because they think that they're going to fix us, or it shows up as saying that we're not going to have sex with someone and then we go and we have sex with them. It shows up as obsessively thinking that this person is going to be the kind of person that we think or we have fantasized that they're going to be. And when they don't meet our expectation, we either isolate, we're either really upset, or we hold on to that fear and that anger, and then we blow up and we rage at them. And as you can imagine, like, all of those things don't work well when you want to be in a really healthy and loving relationship. So again, it's sort of this this compulsive need to want to be loved by someone else. And we think it's going to make us feel better about ourselves. And it does for just a quick minute, and then it makes us feel bad.
I have the chills, and people on Facebook are saying, wow.
Mm.
And it is wow, because I don't think like this isn't talked about. Before I met Katie, I never even knew that love addiction was a thing. I only heard of like sex addiction before, you know what I mean? Sex addicts, right? Or drug and alcohol. So you're right. Like there's actually a thing, like she mentors a lot of women and supports them in that. And it's not talked about.
Well, and Ash, I think too, it is more common than drug and alcohol addiction.
Mm.
And that is also not talked about. And I know that to be true, not only from my own experience, but also the research that I've done, that it is more common than drug and alcohol addiction. And I think most of us, if you're sitting here and you're relating, or you're feeling some resistance, you're feeling some like heat in your body, that resistance is actually truth. And I find that for me, my truth was that I just thought that this was my 20s and 30s, that I was surrounding myself with women and men who my female friends were like encouraging me to get his number and have that one night stand and be in that relationship. And the guys that I was with, I was pulling in and attracting these people who were not only not physically available, meaning they were like either married or in a relationship, or they were dating many other women, and I really didn't know where I stood with them, or they were emotionally unavailable, which is sort of one and the same. Like they had a fear of intimacy, or they wouldn't communicate their feelings. And so I was always left wondering what I could say and what I could do to make them want to choose me. And I know this sounds funny, but I actually never realized that I had a choice, because I was always hardwired and programmed to think like, I have to do these things to make them choose me. I have to have sex. I have to wear the clothes. I need to have that job that allows for more money so that I can go on that trip with them when they ask me to go on that trip. Like it bled into everything, and it was so tiring. And so, yeah. And so when you asked me earlier, like, what are the things that I do to try to step into receiving that, knowing that I'm getting the kind of love that I want, I still every day have to say battle, because it really is a conscious choice to either go the way I used to, or instead choose, okay, so I ask myself this question. I say, HALT. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired? And if I am any of those four things, then I check in with myself and I just feed that need, whether it's literally food or like, am I feeling lonely? And then I ask myself, if I'm lonely, who can I reach out to that's a safe and trusted person who is not a former sex partner, or who is not somebody that I like am attracted to?
Wow. That is so powerful. So powerful. Like blown away, really blown away. And it's really resonating with so many people here. So that HALT, asking yourself those questions, and let's just go over that. Am I hungry? Am I tired?
Am I angry? So HALT.
Oh, duh. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired?
Yeah.
And then giving yourself what you need of those. I think that's such a great way to like curb self-sabotage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said. Well
Yeah.
said. Because self-sabotage comes, I think, from my own experience, when I am any of those or all four of them. And, you know, when there have been times, even recently, where I was hungry, angry, lonely, tired all at once.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I went to bed at 6:30. I was like, I gotta shut this shit down, because if I don't go to bed, I am going to, like you said, self-sabotage or act out. I'm gonna do things that aren't serving me well.
So powerful. And this is relatable to love. This is relatable to drugs. This is relatable to food. Like this is relatable on every level.
Shopping on Amazon.
shopping addiction. Yes, that's real too. So wow. And then a couple people on here have said, you know, Marisol said that's so deep. Yeah, it is. And Lynn and my mom actually is on here, and she said, they both said, you have to love yourself first. You have to love yourself first, which is why Katie has a program called Love Your Life, because it's interesting, right? So she was in my mastermind, and it's, you know, when you're starting a business, like, yes, this is all about loving your life, but obviously there's so much work, like everything she's talking about, right? There's so much work that goes into it, and loving your life is the byproduct of it all, right? It's like you do the work, then you get to love your life. And it's hard to niche that. I see now the struggle in a different way, for some, like the challenge of it in a different way. Do you know what I mean? Hold up while I sip my Organifi green juice real quick. Yes, Todd and I have been drinking our juice. We've been good boys and girls. And I want to remind you to drink your juice. If you have not yet had your juice today, or you haven't yet ordered your Organifi greens, what you waiting for? They are so good, so delicious. if you are ready to reset, to return the body to homeostasis, if you're ready to reduce your cravings, if you're ready for micronutrients to help you infuse more superfoods for your body to feel more energized, more vital, and let's be real, just better about yourself because you're drinking something green in the morning, Organifi green juice is for you. If you're not into green juice, I do highly recommend just trying it. But they also have other juices, some that are more sweet. They really do have you covered from sunrise to sunset. They have a juice for morning, noon, and night. And if you want 15% off, I got you covered, boo. Just go to my link, www.organifi.com/manifestwithash, manifestwithash. I gotta spell it out because it's a podcast. Just go to Manifest with Ash and you'll get 15% off. You'll feel amazing. You're gonna feel like you're improving your total well-being, and I think you're gonna love the taste. So if you're ready for some moringa, some chlorella, some spirulina, some beetroot, some matcha green tea, some wheatgrass, some ashwagandha, turmeric, lemon juice, coconut water, it's all in there and it's all waiting for you. So go right now. I can't wait. And let me know how you love it.
I know exactly what you mean, because Ash, I think too, like your mom and another woman said, like my grandmother used to say this, my Nana, you need to love yourself in order to love someone else or to have someone love you. But here's the deal, Ash, because I know this to be true for myself, and I know this to be true for every single woman who's out there who's going, but how?
Right. That's
how?
Right.
So that's the conflict, right? It's like the women that are coming to me do love themselves in some way, shape, or form. Like they present well, they get their nails done, they get their hair done, they have jobs, they like pay their bills. Like they on the outside appear like everything is great and fine and perfect, right? But on the inside, if we don't feel good enough, we don't feel like we have a choice we still think we need to be chosen. And so yeah, as much as we have even probably said to ourselves, like, I know I need to be loved, I need to love myself before I love another. That's the dichotomy. It's like, well, then how? And so that's why like the practical tips and tools that I'm sharing, they really actually focus on what is the problem right now. Because right now, a lot of my clients say to me, like, I miss him, or I can't, I want to get out in there and date, but I'm so frustrated. I'm so annoyed with like the games and and then other women are in marriages and they feel like something is missing, but not necessarily from the marriage, just feeling unfulfilled in their life. So it merges in all these different ways, shapes, and forms. So we just deal with the problem that feels the most up right now. And then we take all the tools and strategies to figure out like, what is one thing that you can do today that makes you feel like you love you? And that's where we go into that like receiving list that I shared.
So it's today. It's all about
just focus on today.
That's all we've got.
It's so hard to do that though.
Then you can love your life today. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to love every single part of your life, and you don't like, all you can do is love your life today.
Well, let's face it, Ash, when we are in fear, right? And I'm not talking coronavirus fear. I'm just talking about fear as it relates to like aspects of our life. Coronavirus is that the Rona, is that we really, when we're in fear, this happened recently. I had a client reach out and she said, I just found out that the guy I'm dating has been dating somebody else for a long period of time. And I feel so like, I just feel so concerned and I'm so fearful and feel so stuck. And she felt powerless, right? And she felt hopeless. And so I asked her to just think about what it feels like today, because she was projecting what it could be. Like, I want to have this and maybe he'll control that aspect. And so we go into this. This is why a big part of why I wanted to talk about stepping into faith, Ash, is like, when we're in fear, not only do we physically feel it like in our heart and our chest, and it like makes our shoulders roll forward, but we feel it, like I feel it as headaches and as like neck aches and joint aches, right? And sometimes we feel it in our stomach. We feel this fear. And when we're in fear, we talk fast. We have floating thoughts that are like going back and forth, and we can't like actually make a decision because we're just in this conscious reasoning. We're like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Oh my God. And then we just stop sometimes. Sometimes we just obsessively clean our house, or we reach out to someone we know we shouldn't because and somehow we're self-sabotaging, like you said. Or we just eat, or we shop, or we do these things that just we know are going to make us feel good in the moment, but they feel so bad after we do it. And so that's why I really wanted to come today and talk about faith, because it's not about what you believe in. I don't care if it's God or the universe or nothing, right? Because I do have clients that believe in nothing. But like, it is really about reconnecting back into ourselves so that we can feel what it feels like to be in faith. And I can talk through that more if you want.
I would love that. This is so powerful. And Marisol said, is there a higher power you turn to other than what your addiction wants? And so
Yeah, girl.
That's what we're getting into right now. Welcome everyone that's just hopping on. This is a powerful conversation, like so powerful, so powerful. Okay.
I feel like you said something really important earlier, which is that no one's talking about this.
Yeah.
No one.
But it's also like hard. I was just thinking about the business perspective of it, and I see how like the title of this even how to step into faith and receive more. If I didn't put with love addiction coach, like no one, that could be so generic. Like that could be so many different topics, right? But this is so specific.
I love addiction.
Yeah.
It's funny, after I sent it to you, Ash, I almost called you back and was like, yo, let's do addicted to love, and then this how to step into faith and receive more.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it is so specific to that of compulsively wanting to be loved by other people so that we don't feel disconnected and isolated. So stepping back into the conversation around faith, what I've found for me is that what it physically feels like is like my shoulders drop, my heart opens, all the pain in my body just seems to sort of subside. It's like I got a good stretch in or something. Like it just, and then I hear my stomach gurgle. That to me is like the ultimate indication that I'm in faith. It's really funny. Pay attention to it to see if it happens for you guys. But when I am relaxed and in faith, my stomach goes vroom, and that's actually your digestive system working and relaxing enough to work. I was like, this is fascinating, because I kept asking my doctor, I'm like, why is this happening when I'm laying on your table? And she's like, you're relaxed, you're stepping into faith, like you are trusting that everything's going to be okay. So listen up for your stomach gurgling. I thought that was so cool. But when it comes to faith too, again, I'm not referring to that of necessarily a higher power or God or whatever it is you choose or not choose to believe in. But it really is, but I choose to believe. Like I choose to believe, and I call my faith God. But I associate it more with a feeling, because I'm a feelings kind of girl. So like when I feel like I'm in faith, I feel calm, I feel peaceful, I feel trusting, I feel safe, and I feel understood. And you guys even heard it in my voice. Did you notice that when I spoke about fear, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like Katie Grimes from Boston, just rattling shit off, right? when I'm in faith, my voice lowers and drops and just feels way more relaxed. And so what I would love to bring you guys through right now is an opportunity to step into that faith. And this is an opportunity that you can literally take with you every single day. It takes less than a minute, and it's really, really awesome. I just did it this morning, actually, before I got on, because I was just like, I want to step into faith. So let's go ahead and just get in a comfortable position and close your eyes. And you can place both feet on the ground to just feel deeply rooted to the ground. And if you found a position that feels a little uncomfortable, go ahead and just readjust. And now find your own rhythm to your breath. And I'm going to say a word to you. And as I say that word, I want you to feel what it would feel like to feel that way right now. Safe. What would it feel like to actually be safe right now? Trust. What would it feel like to have a massive amount of trust right now in your life. Feel the feelings of what it would feel like to be loved. Notice if your stomach started to move, your heart started to open. Feel the feelings of what it would feel like to be understood. Feel the feelings of what it would feel like to receive more love, more money, more connection, more faith, more trust that everything is going to be okay. Really feel that one, that everything is going to be okay. I'm going to bring you back in the room in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can open your eyes.
So good.
And how do you feel?
I feel amazing. I feel like really, I got the tingles at the crown of my head. I don't know if you ever got those, but like it kind of feels like a tiara of tingles.
That's a beautiful way to describe it.
And yeah, it's such a powerful tool to kind of really ground into what you want. Such a
Totally.
manifestation tool.
And I find that I'm a journaler, so I like to write those feelings down. And I usually will write the word and then I will feel the feelings because, I mean, because you're a badass manifester, that like when you feel the feelings,
Yeah.
that's actually feeling like it's actually happening for us today, which is really beautiful. And
then,
for me, when I do this exercise, it helps me to not seek validation outside of myself from my boyfriend or from my clients or from my mom, like these different people whom I know they'll give me love if I need or ask for it, but maybe they're not the best choice. I always ask myself, like, is there anything that I can give myself first before I ask for what I might need from another?
Yeah. How life-changing has that been for you?
First of all, I lost a ton of weight. Like, I didn't realize, Ash, that I was carrying literally the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Wow.
Like, I wrote this I wrote something that I'm going to share eventually on my podcast and in more public forum about how when we feel like we're seeking validation from other people, that we want other people to make us feel loved. For me, what happened is that weight kept piling on and then it scrunched me, so it had to blow out one way. And so for me, it like went out waist-wise. And I just remember feeling like it wasn't about what I looked like, it was more about what I felt like. And for me, I've really been able to step into that place of feeling more secure in my body, more secure in my thoughts, but mostly around trusting my intuition and knowing that the very first thought that we always have when it comes to a choice that we're trying to make, our very first thought is always our intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach this in my program that's coming up called Trust Your Intuition, because I feel like it is such a key, valuable tool that I have learned about no more conscious reasoning, no more back and forth in fear of like, should I go right or left? And then I think about all the options of, should I call him or should I not? Should I call him? Should I not? Instead, the very first answer that I asked, or the very first answer when I asked myself the question, should I call him, is no. Yeah. And I listen to it.
Wow, you're so right. The intuition part of the healing, like I feel like it's part of the healing is learning to listen.
That was a big part for me, Ash. When I got into this, when I learned that I was a love addict and started coaching other women, is like I realized the key component was I felt like I couldn't trust that the thoughts I was having were true or not, and which decision should I make.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't trust my intuition. So that was like my number one thing. I was like, I am going to learn how to trust my intuition.
Yeah. And I feel, and in turn, you get the gift of trusting yourself and knowing that, you know, you're not going to let yourself down because you trust your intuition.
So you just said something to me that really resonated, which is a girlfriend of mine. One time we were talking about abandonment. And that is also a really common characteristic amongst those of us who have love addiction, is we fear that we're going to be left. And sometimes what we do is we fear we're going to be left, so we leave first. And so I said to her, I was like, I think people assume that marriage will solve for this, or a partnership will solve for this. And she said, it never does. But one thing I've told myself is that I will never leave myself. And that stuck with me. Like, I'm never going to feel abandoned because I'm never, ever going to leave myself.
That is so freaking powerful.
Right? I was like, taking that. Thanks, girl.
Soak that in, everyone that's listening, that's watching live. That's so beyond powerful. Whew, so much goodness in here. I'm so excited. Amazing work can be done in 30 minutes, I swear. It's cool. Really cool. Imagine what a coaching session would be like. Damn.
Thanks, girl.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing all of that with us. And, I think right now, a lot of people are lonely. And it's really beautiful. So if there was one last nugget to share on that topic, that anyone might be feeling lonely right now, what would you say? What would you tell them?
Yeah, it is. I'm hearing consistently that people, the words they're using are, I feel disconnected and isolated. Just did a podcast on this. The antidote to disconnection and isolation, I know we think that we feel disconnected and isolated from others, but it's not. We feel disconnected and isolated from ourselves. So soak that in, right? Like, does that feel true for you when I say that? That when we say we feel disconnected and isolated, it's actually that we feel disconnected and isolated from ourselves. So go back to that list of HALT. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? And are you tired? See what you can give yourself first out of those buckets, and then write a list of the ways in which you feel like you're receiving whatever you feel like you need. Maybe it's connection, maybe it's attention, whatever it is, and see the ways that it's already shown up for you. And you'd be surprised. You'll actually might forget throughout the day that somebody texted you and asked and sent you a cute baby picture or something.
Right. That's so true. It's like we might write that off as like,
totally.
Yeah. And I love the idea of having them as buckets and then feeling like which one is empty and then how can you fill it up? That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. So good. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your light with us and your purpose with us. How can everyone connect with you and follow you and stalk you?
Yeah.
In a healthy way.
In a healthy way. So first things first, on my Instagram is kg.katiegrimes. So KATIEGRIMES. And then you can also work with me privately. I have 7 spots available in my coaching program, and then I'm closing them down. And then also I have 2 other things that might be of interest. The first is a course called Trust Your Intuition. The cart is opening in a couple of weeks. And that is really like a single girl's guide to getting the kind of love that she wants, but it has so many good nuggets of like confidence and trusting our intuition. And what I'm doing is I'm extracting some of those principles that I'm teaching there into a free class called Showered with Love. And that's taking place over 3 days starting April 21st. So all of those things that I just mentioned are actually all within my Instagram account and all within my website, katiegrimes.com. So you guys are welcome to just see what resonates best with you. And again, I would encourage you to trust your intuition. If I said anything here today, or I just rattled off the ways that you can work with me and something felt like your heart just like opened up, go with that first answer and then just start there. And Ashley, just want to stop too for just a moment and say thank you for giving us this platform to really share our like mutual experiences, our mutual thoughts and our feelings, because I think, it's you shining your light and giving us this platform, and us, meaning the women on this call and you and us, like it makes us feel more connected to ourselves. And then it also makes us feel more connected to one another. So I'm really grateful to be on this journey with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.